All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking real music in real time for a few real people out there just like you and just like me. All right, a couple of things before we talk about Styx and how Tommy Shaw walked out on Styx, because that's the truth. And then I'll, update through the years. It's just a great story. I mean, it should be a movie miniseries. Here is Thomas Lassar. From now on, go listen to Thomas Lassar sing this song called When My Ship Comes In. Goofy, happy, fun song. A guy who can sing, by the way. I mean, you're going to say to yourself, Dave, I mean, this isn't really hard rock or anything. No, it's not. And doesn't make your ears bleed. I don't know. It's kind of somewhere in between AOR and pop, but at times there are some harder rock tendencies, but most of the time this is just good music. Just good music, Put it in whatever category you'd like. Thomas Lassar, he is from Sweden, of course. I promote a lot of Swedish musicians, and nobody in Sweden sees these videos probably. They've probably all been banned in Sweden. Although Sweden is a pretty interesting country. They do their own thing. Sometimes they do stuff I like. Sometimes they do stuff that's kind of weird. But in any event, they have a big scene over there when it comes to melodic rock and AOR and playing the music that used to be, or at least, having artists that I don't even think these artists are on Swedish radio, but they might be. Who knows? Also, don't forget, speaking of radio, modern retro radio, baby. Been talking a lot about this radio station, this online internet juggernaut, playing the music of yesterday and today, but playing new music by classic artists. Eric Clapton has new stuff out there, and nobody here in the States played Eric Clapton for a number of reasons. Obviously, they don't like Eric's message lately, even though Eric was 100% correct. There's never an apology like, gee, we're sorry, Eric, we shouldn't have told you to go to CVS multiple times. You did a couple of times, and then you got mad, and then we got mad at you for getting mad. And then we called you all kinds of names. And then we made all these connections that didn't exist, to throw him under the bus. But anyway, folks, speaking of being thrown under the bus, Dennis DeYoung of Styx. I keep talking about this because people send me messages all the time. And the bottom line with Styx is Tommy Shaw walked out on Styx. That's the title of this video. Tommy Shaw walked out on Styx. And then he came back. And then they wrestled the band away from Dennis DeYoung, who had gotten sick. Of course, there's stuff that happened in the 80s. Dennis DeYoung actually tells this story. He got it out there. And he said during the 80s, the guys in Styx wanted him to replace Tommy and go on without him. And he said, no, I'm not going to do that. I want to wait for Tommy to come back. Well, Tommy never came back. He went off with the Damn Yankees for a while. And then apparently he ran into some financial problems. Styx did do one album with Glenn Burtnick, which did okay. Had one top 10 single, which did really well. It meant a lot to people who were following the whole original Desert Storm Gulf War thing. It's called Show Me the Way. It's a great song. They don't play it on the radio. I think it hit number 3. It could have hit number 1. That's how good of a song it was. Classic Dennis DeYoung songwriting, really just questioning the world. But for whatever reason, people in that conflict at that moment sort of adopted that song. There was a radio remix of it, which had headlines and little snippets of news stuff mixed in with the song. Really compelling stuff. In fact, somebody uploaded a new version during the pandemic, kind of like the updated version of it, which I don't want to go back and talk about the thing-demic, so I'm just going to move on. Anyway, so Dennis, he wanted Tommy back finally after Damn Yankees. And according to Dennis, Tommy had some financial problems. And so the time was right to get Styx back together again. Not because, they want to reunite and mend fences and so forth. No, I mean, the story, obviously, if you've watched the VH1 documentary about how Damn Yankees used to play Babe or something and make fun of it, Babe made Styx a lot of money. And back when it was recorded, nobody in the band had a problem with it. Same thing with Roboto, right? Yeah, you could say Roboto is the reason Tommy walked out on Styx. Okay, well, you're walking out on a great band, a band that is still making money. And again, Roboto, top 5 hit, I believe, something like that. What are you doing? Yes, some of those songs on Roboto were a little schmaltzy, but that song has taken on a life of its own over the years. So much so that the current lineup of the band was forced to play it because people were asking the merch guys, hey, how come they don't play Roboto? I mean, it's bad when the fans are asking a band that they're going to pay lots of money to go see, hey, how come you guys don't play this big hit song you had? I mean, they're obviously not going to play Show Me the Way. They're not going to play Babe. There are a bunch of songs that are signature Dennis songs that they're not going to play. They will play The Grand Illusion because it's proggy, and proggy means that there's testosterone in the building. But they're not going to play Don't Let It End. And these are songs I'd love to hear. Look, I want to hear the rockers and the ballads. And this dates back to me being a big-time Styx fan. I liked all of what they did. Dennis says, hey, you try to put us into a category. We really don't fit into a category, so why do people keep trying to do this? If you listen to the last Styx album, Crash of the Crown, or whatever it was, they're trying so hard to be a proggy, sort of progressive-sounding band. It's like Styx, Pink Floyd. Same thing with the Mission to Mars. I think Mission to Mars is a better album. I think musically, it borrows from Queen and Cheap Trick and a lot of different things, David Bowie, obviously. It's good. It was good. I didn't want to like it when it came out. I like it much better than the Crash of the Crown or whatever that thing's called. Needless to say, neither album caught on here in the United States with radio programmers, which is par for the course. But it is interesting that there was so much media attention brought, for both of these albums, and they still did nothing. And this is not necessarily the fault of Styx. This is the music industry basically giving old-time rockers with new material the middle finger. That's why you should listen to modern retro radio. On the internet, people. Yeah, it'd be good if there was a radio station like that, but internet radio, all you got to do is stream it, stream it to your Bluetooth stereo in your car, and it's better. All right. It's just, unfortunately, this is the way we roll these days with all the technology. So this Styx debacle, as I like to call it, with all apologies to the man with a spinning keyboard, who kind of sounds a little like a Keebler elf, but he's a good musician for sure. It's funny that they said, hey, we don't want Dennis. He's too vaudevillian. He's too schmaltzy. Well, Lawrence Gowan isn't exactly oozing testosterone out there, I guess it lends credibility to the argument that it's a personality conflict, because why would you replace Dennis with somebody who has Dennis-like qualities? And yeah, the spinning keyboard. Dennis didn't spin the keyboard around. And, when I go to a concert, I prioritize. I look at the lineup and I think to myself, do they have anybody who spins their instrument around? Because that's what I want to go see. I really don't care about the quality of vocals or if there are any original members in the band. Nope, I want to see spinning guitars, spinning keyboards, and maybe even a spinning drum kit. Or you could go see a show at the Cape Cod Melody tent where the entire stage just goes around and around. And yeah, so you don't need a guy with. Imagine the spinning keyboard and the stage spinning. I think you'd have to bring like some Dramamine to the concert so you're not like throwing up your $14 beer. Anyway, I didn't know this was going to be a comedy show. Hey, you know, there is a way to tip me if you go over and join Patreon or YouTube memberships. See how I plug that? Anyway, folks, the bottom line is all of the tumult and chaos with Styx really started when Tommy Shaw walked away. And he came back because apparently he had some financial problems. And then he'd been back for a couple of years. And then, Dennis, see you later, dude. I don't care if you're light sensitive. I don't care if you had some virus. Dennis DeYoung was the first, right? Maybe this was a form of the current thing-demic, and Dennis was like a test run. Like he was one of the first people they gave it to see how well he would do. And apparently he didn't do all that well. He just needed time to heal and recover. And the boys are like, nope, sorry. Same thing with Journey, except Steve Perry didn't want to come back. That's my theory. Whereas Dennis DeYoung, he definitely wanted to come back. But the handwriting was on the wall when it came to radio airplay for Styx, for new material, album sales. The band knew at that point that they weren't going to get much out of that. So touring is the only way to make money, you know, like from the late 90s on. And Dennis may have not wanted to tour that many dates compared to what they've been doing ever since. He might have wanted to do like half the number of dates. But these guys, look, these rock star people, they live a lifestyle that you and I don't live. And most of them want to maintain that lifestyle. They don't save their money. They don't invest their money. Otherwise, Tommy Shaw wouldn't have had financial problems in the 90s. Same thing with Journey's former bass player, Ross Valerie, who after Escape and Frontiers and Trial by Fire, well, no, he wasn't on Trial by Fire. No, he was. He wasn't on Raised on Radio. Sorry. Anyway, he ran into some financial difficulties. So in order to financially tread water, these guys have to take in a ton of money. They don't, it's like they're the government. They have to just keep taking in a ton of money in order to sustain themselves rather than curbing their spending habits. And so I believe that's part of this equation. And it's one of the reasons that it's even more perplexing that if money is all that matters, with the offer that was probably on the table last year for a Dennis Styx reunion, it's kind of hard to understand how these guys didn't just hold their collective noses and say, you know what, Dennis just wants to do this one more time. We'll make a whole bunch of money and then he won't bother us anymore, which is true. He won't. Fans like me would let it go too. I'd be like, yeah, at least they reunited with Dennis. They did the right thing, but they're just not willing to do that. Now, they're out there, you know, these package tours, you know, like Styx and Loverboy or Styx with Don Felder, Styx with REO. And so they're doing okay. You know, they're doing okay with the current lineup and the branding. Hey, we're Styx, but we don't play a whole bunch of songs in our catalog. And Dennis is like, look, if I come back, we're playing Babe. And they probably don't want to play Babe. You know, that might be part of it. Yeah, Dennis, you can come back and you can sing The Grand Illusion, but you can't sing Don't Let It End or Babe or Show Me the Way or any of these big hit songs you had with us. Because that would be bad. Because that would hurt our image a lot. What image at this point? Everybody's too old for you guys to worry about your image. It's just kind of dumb. Anyway, folks, This all started because Tommy Shaw walked away from Styx. He could have come back. He could have walked away for a while and then gathered himself together, got himself back together, and said, you know what? I shouldn't walk away from this music because it's still doing well. And maybe I can convince Dennis to do, a more edgy album next time around. Dennis said this much in an interview where he said, look, we could have come back after Roboto and done a more Paradise Theater like album. And imagine that, another Paradise Theater style album in the 80s. I think people would have really ate that up. And Roboto would have been like, hey, we got a little crazy, weird, experimental there. We tried to sound like Devo for an album, but we're back and we're doing our old shtick again. Styx and the shtick. Yeah, didn't happen though. Didn't happen. It's all water under the bridge, but nonetheless, the boys from Styx are still resistant to a reunion. It's too bad. Anyway, folks, that's my video. One more plug for Thomas Lasar. Great singer, fun guy from Sweden. This is his album From Now On. Check it out. Stream it. It's going to be difficult to purchase a copy of the album. You have to have it shipped overseas. And I got it from an import distributor here in the United States, which, again, I paid a lot for it, but at least I got it. And don't forget about Modern Retro Radio for great internet radio. I've had a few people tell me thanks for tipping us off to the fact that there is decent radio, albeit it's internet radio and you have to use your little Bluetooth device, stream it to your Bluetooth speaker or whatever, however you do that stuff. But everybody's doing it these days. As much as I'd like there to be a terrestrial radio station like Modern Retro Radio, until we have, like, I don't know, new FCC rules and stuff in place, and these giant corporations don't own everything that they own, till that happens, it's the mom and pops, and they're all pretty much on the internet. If you're lucky to have a small radio station in your town defying the boring playlists from corporate media, you are a lucky person. That's all I can tell you. All right, I'm done. Please support me over on Patreon. Also, yes, I'm on Truth Social now. Again, I can't spend the whole day over on Truth Social, but I will be posting videos over there, and I will make the occasional comment. I will try to follow some people who are following me. But again, what I found out early on about social media is it will consume all of your time. It just does. It's a weird world we're living in where I need the support. And so watch the videos, watch the ads if you are so inclined, and follow me over on Truth Social, where there is a lot more truth compared to a lot of other platforms that I've seen in recent years. So that's one good thing. And it's mostly friendly fire. There are no hostile people over there. They're all good people who are trying to make the country good, if not great. Yes, yeah, I'm into that. So thank you again, and I will see you soon.